Hello, how's it going? So today we're doing some more Emile Bertin stuff. This is gonna be, I think, this video is gonna release on Wednesday. So yeah, all right. So let's get into it. So we have all the engine rooms done. I need to put them in. I haven't done this yet. I haven't done the boilers. So what we're gonna do real quick is we're gonna take the first step of what we need to do. We're actually gonna start moving the stuff into the rooms that they need to be in. So what I need to do is / copy. I'm going to need that block. That was 3 heads, so 1, 2, 3. / paste. And that gives you an idea of what it's going to look like. I should have, there's just something I didn't think about. Ooh, that's not a good scenario. Oh, I see what happened. Okay. So, my brain shut off for a second. I should probably put the torpedo protection in first, which is not very hard. And I'm going to see how it is compartmentalized. All right, so it's basically split up into two for each of the frames. And I'll call these frames, even though they're not frames. But all right, so knowing the shape of the torpedo protection here. So that's where one of the engine rooms go, if I remember. Let me check. Yeah, rearmost room and that room. And I'll mark these by having a red block right there and right here. All right. So because we know how big the torpedo protection is, I'm going to do it like this. Considering where the levels are for each of these, and how they're not consistent, like that right here shows a different consistency, I am going to do 2 blocks up, and then a, sorry, my brain's shutting off. And then a color split, because I like having my colors like that. Okay. So we're going to use light gray. And I want to make it easier, so my frames are all going to be... So let's see, how long is this again? We're going to put a center, 14. Yeah, so it's even. So I'm going to go look at the plans. And for this one, it's slightly back. So there. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Yeah, right there. This is where a wall goes for the torpedo protection. Bam, bam. This keeps going back. This torpedo protection is not all that great at this side of the hull, I will admit. But working off the plans, that's kind of how it is. It's not very big. It's a light cruiser, so the torpedo protection on these things isn't going to be all that great. You're more thinking about gunfire protection, because as a light cruiser, you theoretically should be able to dodge torpedoes. I say theoretically because some people are really good at dispensing torpedoes. So I'm looking at here, and I want to look at the side profile again. So, all right, let me see. So originally this would be 3-tiered, but you can't physically fit that on this hull. It's not. If 3-tiering would give you no air, so it would be like that, and you'd basically have no. You'd have no extra air in your torpedoes bulges, and it wouldn't be all that good. You just waste displacement by putting too much of it in. There is such thing as too much torpedo protection for a given size of ship. Because you need to think if it's practical or not. You need to think if it's a practical amount for what you're building. In this case, I would say this is probably the practical amount. I have fit more torpedo protection on a similar size ship, but I would say the boiler rooms definitely showed that there was a lot less space on them. So the center of this guy. So let's see. This is also an uneven room, isn't it? It's 16, I think, right? Yeah, 16. So I gotta find the midpoint. And then, according to... it's not even on both sides for this ship. And that's probably to do with fuel. But from what I can tell, it is actually mainly centered forward. So 1, 2, hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we'll go right here. Which should leave it slightly more space back. 8. Wait, what? 7. Oh, 7 and 8. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I will say these are pretty large bulges compared to what I usually do. I don't like large torpedo bulges. When I say that, I mean in width. I don't like there being a lot of space to cover. I usually have a standard where it's by 5 every time. And that probably is why a lot of the time I have a lot of flotation issues, because I try to make my ships tough. I like them to be durable against whatever they can be, especially torpedoes. And generally, the problem with that is you start to get weight issues because you don't have enough air. And for example, I don't think this ship is going to have that problem because I'm going down to the letter with where its divisioning is, other than this area right here, of course, but it's a little different in this case. I could give it the asymmetrical ones. And I guess it would make it a little harder to hurt. But I don't really think... There are some liberties you can take with ships, I think, in my opinion. I think trying not to be asymmetrical is a little bit of a picky one. I mean, once you get to the decks and all that, you do actually want to have the asymmetricality, but this is underwater. I would say the symmetricality actually works in the favor of the ships. It gives them more consistency across the board. It means you know where all of the things that can screw up will screw up. It gives you better knowledge of your ship. Because let's say I wanted to make a ship and I gave the torpedo doors the asymmetrical. So the asymmetrical would be something like this. It would be kind of weird. It would be like something like that, and on the other side, something near that. But the point is, with that asymmetricality comes a little bit of inconsistency. You might notice that one area of your ship takes way more of a battering than the rest. And generally, I prefer a consistent hull compared to one that's all flippy-floppy, screwing up in certain areas because, oh, this area had a little more torpedo protection than the rest. It's not really worth your time to get that little asymmetricality in something as I would say trivial, but torpedo defense is pretty important. Something as specific as torpedo defense. It's not worth your time. Just don't waste it on that. And for here, I'm actually going to make these inner torpedo walls different. So STS, let's see, what color do we want to use? I used to use orange a lot. I think for this ship I want to use the lime green. Just because it's easier to tell it apart from the hull. And I don't actually know what color rooms I want the full interior yet. I'm not going to beat around the bush with that. I do not know how I'm going to do the interior walls that aren't mechanical space, that is. Because I usually keep my mechanical spaces all one consistent inner wall color. The grays work pretty well for a look and also just being there. You don't have to be super fancy with the walls for your interior spaces because I mean when I say interior spaces, I mean specifically engineering spaces because let's be completely honest with ourselves. As much as you go down there, they are packed full of stuff. There's other stuff to look at than the walls. The walls are kind of like your least important factor other than maybe making sure your ship is tough. So, going on about that, actually, we're going to put our first instances of armor on the ship, and I usually actually like to put, if I can, I like to put belts on my ships, but I don't really get the opportunity very often because, again, how I do, how I make these ships, weight is usually a factor. But I would love to put belts on my ships, but for this area, this needs to be made out of different material, so it's tougher. And that's just from the side. I'm probably not gonna bother with making the engine rooms tougher too, but so class, one light gray, and then cobble. So this heavy rivet stuff, just so you know, going into this, this is heavy. This counts class 2. It's tough. And you also don't want to screw up your corners. These corners can be a weak spot, so make sure you get them. But yeah, heavy rivet is not the lightest of materials in the slightest, but it is tough. It's very tough, and I like to use it to accent stuff. Just make sure you don't go overboard, is all I'm telling you. And this is because this is a boiler room, I do want it to be tougher. Boiler rooms house something that can explode and actively ruin your day. And so what I'm probably going to do for this is I'm probably going to just do the full length real quick. And then, let's see. This is the engine room. I would say it has a forward split. And I can get rid of these. So let's go 8. That's 9, 8. So right there, that's where the split's going to go. I can get rid of that and that. Yeah, we're just going to do one side first. I'm not going to try to waste your time. Oh, wait, this should be 7. I screwed that up. Right there. So this full length should be 8, and this should be 7. Yep. Dunzaroonie. You notice I'm putting this here. It's because I already know that this is like that. Uh, let me use my words, not murmur my mind around. Because this section, the boiler section, I already know it's there. I already know that's made out of boiler section, so I have to give it the right separation. For this, though, for this wall specifically, I am going to put the insert right here, and that is because these are 2 boiler rooms. I don't think it's very safe to have two boiler rooms next to each other. No matter what, I don't care that I space my boilers apart. It's not safe. You know, I'll do the boiler edits off screen, by the way, the ones where I change their layout a little bit, because I don't. Again, you already saw me make the boiler room. I don't think it's worth your time. I genuinely don't think you should take your time watching something that I've already done. I'm just rejigging the same room. But after we get this torpedo section done and insert stuff into the hull, which I'm gonna try to do as quickly as I can, we are going to do the bottom deck. Whatever's left on the bottom deck to fill, which means there's an area up here, which someone can correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't think I'm wrong here, but I'm going to assume that it's correct worthy. Is I believe there's a forward section that is specifically designed to be a secondary armament magazine. It's the secondary mag. And that's what it looks like to me, because I don't see any other area where it could be. Without being unprotected, which wouldn't make much sense. That, and it looks like a bunch of boxes. To me, it looks like there's a forward mag there. And what I'm talking about is, if you go look at the plans up, I actually might throw the description, link in the description for what the plans are this time around. But there is a box right behind here, so there's a space that I think is just fuel. And then behind that is like a little room. Well, not a little room. I'll show you what I mean in a sec. You'll get to see. Thinking about it, you've probably seen enough of this. I can do the rest off the screen. I'm sorry for wasting your time there. I did get the important point across that I separate my boiler rooms, I guess. So yeah. Alrighty. I'm just gonna put this here so I know where everything else goes. And that. Right? No. Whole narrows there. Alrighty. So, time to do something a little different. Time we get to this. So, I'll tell you what I mean now. Knowing how each deck goes, if I'm correct, it's here. Yeah. Alright, so quartz. Nah, not quartz right here. Right here, as I think, is two fuel tanks. So, what I'll do is I'll make it out of STS. And I'll make it the bulkhead STS. Because I'm probably going to put another STS wall there. Although that's a waste of displacement. So what I'll do is take advantage of this that I've already done. It's given me a good idea for how I want to style my magazines, at least. So we're going to do that in yellow for secondaries. For secondary magazine. And it might be a fridge down there too. I'm not completely sure. I don't really know what it is, to be completely honest. Cargo, secondary magazine. It's 3 rooms there. There's more than one room. So with this much space, because it's secondary mag, I'll do this. No, I want to eke out a little bit of extra protection. And because it's right next to a boiler, yeah, it can merge. It can merge here. As long as that stays as metal. All right. And make sure to cover your soft corners, which is the bottoms in this case. And I don't think we'll mind if I put that there. All right. With this knowledge down, we have this area. So so it's split into two, like I was trying to say. And then it has a third section right here. So what I'm going to do is that. And I'm not exactly sure what this room is. I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going to sugarcoat. I think this right here is a refrigerator. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, especially considering, from what I know, actually a lot of fridges like to take their self in the like to be in the rear. But again, I actually think I know where the fridge is. Looking at this plan, I think it's a big. There's a big room that I think is a fridge. I don't think it's a fridge. All right, so we have cargo, and what I'm going to assume. Ooh, I actually know. We don't have any dynamos. Yeah, this is a weird room to get around. Anyhow, so there's going to be a cargo room right here. Very simple. I'll actually use it this space because I want more space for the secondary ammo. But there's going to be how many barrels of secondaries? So there's one. So there's 4 barrels about. So I do need a good amount of secondary. So we need light ammo. And it was kind of just haphazardly laid around. So my assumption is I'm not going to actually enter from here. I'm going to enter from here. And because I have that, let's see which side this prefers real quick. It doesn't prefer a side, actually, so I'll make it prefer the dynamo side. So again, I don't actually know if this is a dynamo or not. I am just guessing. Well, I used to know French, but I don't remember it very well anymore. And even if I did remember it, it's not very helpful. The plans are a little, old. So there, we're going to have a door there, which means I can place this here. That. And there's going to be door right here. And I am actually going to check how you get up the... Aha! Yeah, no, it is this side. You do get in from the left. Right here, specifically. So I'll mark that down with this. And we'll have... Oh, you know what we don't have is any fire pumps. Or, well, we do, I think, but not in... That reminds me, does this have any actual pumps? No, it doesn't. We'll do that another time. We'll do that when we're doing assembly. Or, well, I'll do that when we're doing assembly. But you need these hoses if you're going to do fire pumps. I'm sorry that I keep getting distracted this video. I didn't really have an idea for what I was going to do today, so... wall. Straight under it. And then engine. Make it 3 deep. Well, no, fire pumps are actually better at 2. They're more cost efficient. So there. I like to put the sign on the bottom because I like to put the valve button over it. And then door. We definitely need a hatch door here. You cannot do that without a hatch door. For safety purposes, I'll put a hatch door here. There's a ladder that goes there. There's a door, and I'll just make that a normal interior door. Not going to waste displacement on a door to the cargo room. And then I'm trying to look at what this room is. It's kind of small. It has like 3 sections in it. So what I'm going to turn it into is a fuse box room. Switchboard. Other way around. There we go. It's a tight little room, but it works. This right here, I'm definitely making oil. I have no doubts that I'm turning this into an oil. And I'm actually going to go with the accuracy here that the actual plans have. So STS, I need both light gray. Or no, I need green for this, because this is a compartment. Right there. Fuel. Fuel oil. This will go here. I'm not going to completely fill the thing. I will fill that one, though. And fun fact about these guys, I leave them top open for a while so I can decide how much fuel I'm going to have them. So, all right, time to head to the aft. Time to head to the aft. All right, so you have the magazine, and there's a room between it. I think that is another ammo room with a. I actually hold up. I'm looking at this. These aren't the two same type of rooms. I don't think they might be, but I think that one has cargo, or might be the refrigerator. No, that's not the. Oh wait, actually it might be because it's directly under where I think the refrigerator is. Sorry that I keep pondering, by the way. I'm trying to figure this stuff out. I think that's a refrigerator room, but I'll also make it an ammo store because I actually gave it a lot of space. So we have the two mags that we have the mag there, and I don't think I actually made the mag big enough, all things considered. I could increase it like a length, but I don't think that's worth my time. So I'm not going to do that. But this right here, I already know what this is. This is going to be fuel storage. Let's see which side I should lean to. I am not going to actually do that one accurately, or I might. No, it's safer if I just do something like this, like there. Yeah, that's probably a better solution. It's a little more durable too if you do 3 sections. So here we're going to turn this into a fridge and a secondary magazine. So I need to grab these blocks just in case. All right, we have them. So coming back here, I want my quartz floor. You need your quartz floor. Quartz floor is the best floor for engineering areas, in my opinion. This is full width. No, it is not. I'm wrong. It's the same width as this guy. And we're going to do the same kind of STS bottom here for, I think we'll do light blue. I think we'll do light blue for the bottom of this guy. Why did that get deleted? All right. So here we go. I will actually put a separation wall here. That is going to be the first thing I'm going to do. And I might actually, it might be smarter if I just take up a little space like that and have this here, have the mag in this corner. And yes, I'm completely admitting that I don't really know what this room is for. It's probably for something useful. Just I don't know what it is. So we're going to split it in two and at least make it somewhat useful. Make sure you put the class 1 under it so you don't get those soft corner issues. Because you can get soft cornered under and just have a part of your ship blown out because you weren't doing it right. So we're going to have some light ammo in here. And then because it's a fridge, this is a pretty tiny fridge by my standards. I usually make fridges a lot bigger than this. Because this is a fridge, I don't actually care as much about that. Put that back in. Like that. There we go. And that should be tough enough for what we need. I usually make fridges a lot bigger than this. So what I might actually do is I have an idea. So we keep this here. Oop, don't do that. But we extend this back to connect with the mag. And because that's not touching that wall anymore, we don't have to do that. And I can go back to doing this. So I'm trying to see if there's any intersection with it. Nope. Iron door into there, of course. You don't want to do anything less than an iron door going into magazines. And so I'll separate this into two areas. I always like to have a meat locker that's separate from my vegetables area. So we're going to have the meat locker back here. This is not the most efficient use of my brain. I'll say this is definitely not the most efficient use of air that you can possibly do, but okay. So I use nether wart, as meat. And I kind of just chunk it up like this. And you go cargo. Put a couple cargo blocks in here too. And so here is, this being the main fridge, I'm going to add a ladder in right there. And because that's the main fridge, you get stuff like potatoes. So there's certain soils I like to use that look kind of like potatoes and other things. So watermelon, always throw melon in here. Just because it's a in-game item that you can actually just use. I can push this back actually. Signs. Signs do not take up air. I think I mentioned this once, but mention it again. I'll actually shrink that like that. Yeah, there we go. And then we're going to have potatoes, which I can't remember what kind of block I used for potatoes. I think it was coarse dirt. I think I used coarse dirt. Yeah. Like that, and then we'll have some cargo laying about mixed in. Because you need to have your cargo. Yeah, it's not my biggest it's not my biggest fridge, but it is a fridge. All right, here is fuel. This is just straight up fuel. There's no way this is not fuel. So, bam. Fill that up. Might be smart to keep these two unfilled, just to give you a little more buoyancy. And they're not super important to your fuel stash. They're not very big. And you come up forward, it's time to see how they divided the forward section. They divided into three. There is a room in front that I think is like a generator for the power and the fence in here. So we'll add that room. It's not going to be that big. It's going to be pretty tiny. And because it is, what is that, cyan? Yeah. Because it is associated, with the gunnery. Oop. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to keep the colors the same. And it's just going to be like a little fake generator in here. That's all it's going to be, really. Something like, this. And then, is there really anything else in there? No. We'll put a fire pump. It's always good to have your fire pumps. A ladder's right there. Then there's another area that I think is the chain locker in front of it. Like there's a distinct skip, so STS. I need both of these. This is all fuel from what I can tell right here. Then there's like a little chain locker, which goes right here. And there's something else in front of it, but I have no earthly idea what that is. I think it's just chain. So we're just going to make this area chain instead. Save displacement. But you do need chains, so don't forget to add chains to your boat because they do matter for your anchor length. So here's going to be fuel. Because this area is wider, is not actually wider than 5. I'm looking at it right here. I can fully just do that. It's going to be a big old fuel tank. Like that. Something like that works. You might think I'm indecisive with how much fuel I put in this stuff, but I get worried about displacement. And we're going to have another one right here, roughly. This is just going to be filled with fuel. It's just all fuel. Yeah, so we got all of that done. I don't think there's anything else left on this deck. I don't think you could physically fit anything more on this deck, to be completely honest. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it for this deck. So next video I'll have these put in, and I know the first part of this video was really rambly and it gets annoying because I didn't really seem to have much focus at the beginning, but I'm gonna finish this deck before the next video. This will all be laid out. You'll see every engine in. You'll see the pipes all done. I would have figured out the current shaft issue that we're having. Hopefully that is. If I don't, then something's wrong. I should have had that all finished out by design. I don't think there's going to be a stream this week. There might be, but I doubt it. And next week I definitely will continue the streams. And I'll have to change my schedule at some point because I go to college, and as such, my college schedule changed, and I already know what classes I'll be taking. So I'll make an entire video about how I'm changing my college schedule, how my scheduling is going, and what days I'll be doing everything. Suffice to say, I might stream less, but you win some, you lose some. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know it gets rambly, and I repeat myself a lot, but I hope you genuinely like this video. Like, subscribe, comment, whatever you want to do. Probably should have said it at the beginning, but I don't like getting in your hairs too much. So, thank you all for watching, and I'm out.